So, welcome everybody to the Broken Pencil Zine Awards 2021. I am so stoked to have you here. My name is Jonathan Vallely. I'm the editor of Broken Pencil, and I have been part of the Zine Awards since its inception, really, 5 years ago. And yeah, we are celebrating 5 years of the Zine Awards this year, 25 years of Broken Pencil. I will mention before we get into the event. We are releasing a special issue that's coming out soon, and you can buy sort of a package deal on our website now. So I wanted to get that plug in early. But also, yeah, 5 years of Zine Awards, 25 years of Broken Pencil, and many, many thousands of zines. I'm really chummed that you guys are here tonight and that I can welcome you to the Zine Awards, virtual as they may be. I wanted to just take a moment to at least acknowledge the land that I'm on, which is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Mississauga, and also give a shout out to some of the awesome zine publishing history that there is on this land. Especially Six Nations and the Haudenosaunee have some really amazing histories with newspapers, self-publishing, independent press like Akwesasne Notes, and just wanted to give a shout out to that amazing work that's being done by people who are from this territory, and say that we're grateful to be here. And wherever you are, give a moment's pause to think about what land you're on. So that being said, I acknowledge that this is a weird hybrid of what we've done with the Zine Awards in the past. We did a virtual sort of pre-recorded Zine Awards last year as part of CanZine, as a result, of course, of our pandemic situation. But I think we kind of missed just the feeling of being, if not near each other, doing something together. And we didn't want, just it to be another video at CanZine, as amazing as all of the stuff there was at our festival. There was to see at our festival. We wanted to try this semi-live, semi-pre-recorded version, so bear with us. We're working it out. A bit about the Zine Awards now. I mean, like, I think that the distance has always been a feature of the Zine Awards. Zines are a mail medium, a print medium, an online medium, a decentralized circulation medium. And in many ways, as we sort of leaned in or out of social media in the last 2 years, I would suggest that zines kind of acted, at least for me, as a model of what like an actually social medium could be, given that even the earliest zines were driven by affinity for whether it was sci-fi fanzines or for a political cause in solidarity, and as well just sort of the zines offering an answer to the necessity of building connections that are independent of the power relations and the mainstream, that as much as we live and breathe it every day, there's an option besides it. So that's sort of my thinking about this sort of like distance thing, is like, this is how we always do it, right? We have had in person once, but now we're sort of in this place where zine publishing is not just a thing about having an interest in common as much as it is like having an interest in zines in common. So regardless of content. And that's what I think the Zine Awards kind of represents for us tonight. I think many of us have been cautiously sort of emerging from our homes, and in doing so, I think we've had to recognize those communal spaces that we've built for ourselves, and which sort of have been kind of a lifesaver during the pandemic. And as we come out of it, we can keep appreciating in a new light. The zine community is its own kind of weird communal home, complete with all the lentils and everything. It's a shared home with endless shifting rooms and mirrors and a giant kitchen and the biggest backyard ever, and a series of underground artist studios, and ever changing, always messy, sometimes not as messy, sometimes crowded, sometimes lonely, but there's always somebody arriving with a suitcase to sleep on the couch, and there's always people coming and going. And I think that sort of appreciation for the home that the zine community has been for many of us is really visible in the entries, the nominees, and the winners we've selected for this year. So a round of applause for everyone who had entered or even considered entering, for our finalists. Just before we get into them specifically, this year, I really was just struck by how, of course, there's a wide range of zines. We have our various categories, but also in terms of experience or interest in zines, there's people who have published their first zine who have submitted and been nominated, as well as people who I really admire who have been in the zine scene for longer than I've maybe been alive, if I can admit that. And it's just like, it proves to me that the Xena Awards are so much more about opening up the scene and celebrating different approaches and people from all skill levels and from all different walks of life, rather than being some sort of competition or gatekeeping exercise. I think it really is a moment for us to look at each other and get to see each other and learn about each other. In 5 years, we've opened up the magazine editorial and our festivals, and all of our projects have been informed by the Xena Awards. And hundreds of new connections between zinesters as well have happened since we started this endeavor. So I'm just very proud of it and proud of everybody who has participated over the years. Speaking about those categories, they are always tricky, and you'll see that as we get into them. We've got hybrid zines. Yeah, shout out to the new people. We've got hybrid zines that could easily have been in 4 different categories or 3 or whatever. And we tried to just make sure that collectively we have a spread that represents lots of different strains and talents in our community. So I think you'll enjoy that kind of those blurred lines a little bit, much as I have. With that, I have a quick word from last year's Xena winner, Katie G. Salisbury, who also we were really pleased to have judge with us this year. And she just wanted to say a quick hello.
Hey everyone, my name is Katie G. Salisbury, and I want to welcome you to Broken Pencil's 2021 Zine Awards. I was super honored last year to win for the InfoZine category and for Zine of the Year, which was a huge surprise, but also a huge honor. And this year, it was what an incredible experience to get to judge some of the categories. I was really blown away by the sheer amount of creativity everyone put into their zines, and like the diversity of topics and stories that people are telling, all of which are like really important and need to get out there. So I hope you all keep putting your zines out into the world and amplifying these stories, and congrats to everyone.
So that's a big thank you to Katie for greeting us in that way and being a judge this year. I also wanted to acknowledge our incredible judges, Fiona Smythe and Bishar Mohammed, who were very flexible this year as the timing changed and as I tried to figure out how to get these zines to everyone in time. It's not an easy job. It's extremely difficult to try to make selections from amongst really incredible work, yet we involve. So our first category is art zines. And as you can see, I invented a word called Xerox Experimentatul for this category. This is really meant to, be the zines that showcase art, whether it's the art of the zine or art in a zine. So let's take a look at some of our nominees.
I'm very uncomfortable when it comes to physical touch. I think it's half because I don't
I'm
trust
so sorry,
anybody.
McKaylee. I know they love you.
My entire life, I know it's bad, but it's not so bad. So now, because they don't want to that in every relationship. Like I know Dad has not talked to me, but it's not so bad. It's always a self-fulfilling prophecy. I feel like I hit puberty, disappoint everybody. Dad didn't, so I always become friends with people or close with people that I know will never be able to give me what I want.
Hello, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Nif.
And we are Smashing Press. And this is our book. It's called A Brown Bear. It's about a brown bear who lives in a greenhouse in Kew Gardens. That's the greenhouse. On the back we have a resealable sticker, and inside is the bear. This is the first in a series that we call Unfolding Stories, because it's a story and it unfolds. This format is called a flexagon. This one is a cross flexagon because it makes this cross shape in the middle. It has 4 pages, that's the end, and then we're back at the beginning again, so you can read it forever.
Wow.
So that's our book. Thank you very much to Broken Pencil and the judges for our nomination, and goodbye.
Bye.
Hi, my name is China, and this is Cut Women. It's a zine about women being diminished but still fighting back. It features collages, scanned, then printed on Fabriano and vellum paper. The binding is Coptic with a layer of glue. The design is homemade, and the process, it's a long process in order to get to the finished product. So I made a limited edition of 10 copies. Thank you for nominating my zine.
I created this zine in the summer of 2020, and it was the beginning of the pandemic. I really wanted something that I could work on while feeling stagnant and feeling the emotional turbulence of everything, and turn to my creative practice for comfort. I wrote this poem, Lebanon. It was in the aftermath of the explosions in Beirut in August 2020, and it was the only new work that I created for this zine. Everything else was from previous projects in the last couple of years. Looking at the body of work that I've been building and reflecting on all these little pieces and thinking about how to put them together to create a new narrative was really exciting and made me feel connected to myself, to my practice, to queer diasporic aesthetics in general, and created a sense of cultural intimacy and nourishment for me.
I think what I'll do is I'll just read the names from the list as well, just so that if you didn't catch it in the video itself, we can give a shout out. And we had Loose Ideas by Ash Beyer, The Good Meat by Petronella Davies, Queer Masses #2 by Sarah Evanson, which didn't have a video, but was nominated. Just Because Someone Owns You Doesn't Mean You Own Them by Michaela S. Meyer, A Brown Bear by Anthony and Nif Hodgson, Cut Women by China Marissa Wood, Diaspora Daughter, Diaspora Dyke by Christina Hajar, and Cross Sea Hum by Erica Wilk. And so I wish I had a real good drum roll effect, but I don't. But our winner of this category, the art zine category for 2021, is going to be Diaspora Daughter, Diaspora Dyke by Christina Hajar. So a big virtual round of applause for Christina. Do you want to say a quick hello to folks? You're welcome to.
Thanks. Hi, and thanks. I'll link my zine in the chat. It's also available online for free. So yeah, thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah. Next, we've got the fanzines category, and I just want to say that fanzines, for a couple of years, we like almost didn't have enough to run this category, which we were kind of like, you know, a little torn up about because a lot of zine culture comes out of that fanzine culture. But this year, it was one of the most popular categories. It was really actually quite busy and competitive and exciting in all of those ways. So, and that's true for all of the categories. Like they've kind of ebb and flow. And so I'm really stoked to show you guys our fanzine nominees.
Lana Turner has collapsed. I was trotting along and suddenly, it started raining and snowing. And you said it was hailing. But hailing hits you on the head hard, so it was really snowing and raining, and I was in such a hurry to meet you, but the traffic was acting exactly like the sky. And suddenly I see a headline. Lana Turner has collapsed. There is no snow in Hollywood. There is no rain in California. I have been to lots of parties and acted perfectly disgraceful, but I never actually collapsed. Oh Lana Turner, we love you, get up. Hearing this poem by Frank O'Hara now is sort of like finding an old fanzine. You see that somebody once loved something some time ago. You see what they loved. You see how they loved it, and you see them. Frank O'Hara is funny. People talking about movies is just a really cool thing. Talk to your friends' parents about the movies. Talk to your little cousin about the movies. Talk to strangers about the movies. Talk to us about the movies, please. We have too many of these zines and we've spent too much money printing them. Thank you Broken Pencil for having us at this party. driftingcryroom@gmail.com.
So that was our, oh, right on time. Well done, Natalie. Coming in just as your video was So again, as I said, our fanzines category was very high levels of lit this year. And I'm glad to see everyone in the chat saying how much fun they're having, because I am too. After having like looked at these videos for a long time for the last 48 hours, it's really nice to just kind of sit back and take them all in. So without too much further ado, the 2021 fanzine of the year is Good Chicken by Natalie Mark, who just arrived. So I don't know if you want to say hello at all, Natalie. Yeah.
Hi, thank you so much. Wow, I was not expecting to like even like make the short list, so this is like such a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I made the zine after I think it was like during the pandemic, and I was like had just moved back to Winnipeg, so I had all these like really like weird feelings, and my friend was like, you should watch this anime, this really like corny shonen anime, and I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, it's not gonna be as good as Naruto, but I guess I'll try it. And then I instantly obsessed, like instantly so utterly obsessed. It's literally taken over my life. Every new friend I make, I'm like, yeah, I'm really obsessed with this anime. Like, it's really bad. It's not like bad, but you know, like when you're a bit embarrassed about like the media that you're into, like I'm sure anyone who's like a fan of something can like relate to that. But I was like, you know what, like fuck it. I'm sorry for swearing, but I was like, you know what, whatever. Like I'm just going to make something I enjoy and be like really indulgent about it. Like it's okay. Like it's okay to like draw yourself like making out with Mothman and also being like indulgent and like other things. So I just kind of did that, and also put out like a bunch of other feelings I had been having around that time, and it resulted in this zine. So I'm glad people enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll like share more of it online or like in my shop and stuff. So yeah.
And what's the name of the anime?
It's Boku no Hero Academia. If you read the zine, it literally has nothing to do with the anime. Like,
well, that's not totally true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like the character, and it's very like, it's like dependent on like spoilers that happen like later on that haven't been animated yet, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But it's definitely like my favorite thing about fanzines or like just fandom in general is like meta, and I feel like a lot of the fanzines I've been seeing like recently are mostly just like illustration anthologies. So I'm just like, like why can't we be weird? Like what happened to those like gay like Star Trek scenes? Like, you know, like
they're on eBay.
Yeah, like they're on eBay, they're like in people's old live journals, and I'm like, we should bring back that energy. Like let's be weird again. Let's be weird and self-indulgent. It doesn't have to be like super polished. So yeah.
I can definitely get behind that, absolutely. And I'll just add that Fiona, who is here, but I won't put her on the spot unless you want to say hi, sort of mentioned the hybrid nature of your zine and how you sort of it sort of mashes up text but also comics, and like it's a perzine and as well as a fanzine. And she called it a graphic medicine manifesto, which I loved.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, and there's just an intensely personal zine, but also comforting and revealing as well. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I should mention now that many of these zines that you are seeing tonight are available on the Broken Pencil Zine Store, which is highly Googleable, but also if you go to our website and click through to the store and then click over to the zines section, you'll see mostly our magazines up front. But if you go there, you'll find many of these are available, as well as our 25th anniversary package. And maybe one of my illustrious colleagues will even drop a link in the chat to smoothen that transition to the e-commerce level. But we're not here only for that. We are here to keep talking about these zines. So our next category, I'm just gonna let it play. I'm streaming directly from iMovie, guys. Is that hot of a release? So like I can actually see exactly what's coming next in my slides. There we go. So group zines and collabs is one of our younger categories because for years we had a hard time figuring out just how to approach all these collaborative zines, and the fact that like they were taking up themes and genres and as well as relationships and communities in a way that often was political but also could be artful or all sorts of stuff. So we just made them their own category, and I love seeing who submits to this and who selects this as their category to shout out, because almost all of them could belong somewhere else, but it just shows the way that collaboration and community are really important in our little zine family. Let's check them out.
Hey, what's up guys? My name is Amanya Maloba and I'm editor-in-chief and co-founder of Women Need Wi-Fi. We are an all women and femme of color, international, intergalactic collective of artists and healers, and we are very excited to present Fertile Dreams, our 6th zine. This zine is submission-based from women and femme-identifying people all across the globe, all writing on this theme, exploring the intersection of women and the earth and how to nurture and support and heal both women and the earth. Thank you for considering Fertile Dreams.
Hi everyone, Jay here from Mixed Rice Zines. I'll be doing a reading from Queering Friendship Zine, which is a compilation of work by Cutie Pipoc in exploring intimacy within queer friendships. I'll read from the very first submission by Fair Villies. My lovely trans community, happy Valentine's Day to all of you beautiful, handsome, good-looking folks. To my trans friends in Norway and California, regardless of what life decides to throw at us, we prevail together. Thank you for allowing me to experience community and for seeing me for who I am. You are all badasses, whether you're out there organizing for the betterment of our community or whether we're just simply trying our best to understand ourselves, our world, and our truths. Every day we get through is a cause for celebration, and everyone deserves unconditional love. You all have shown me that. Our love is mutual. Thank you for everything you've all taught me about our world, myself, and organizing. Thank you for the gift of a friend. I've never felt so loved and supported and truly seen. Thank you for growing together with me. I wish that all of our dreams of financial stability, acknowledging family, healing, etc. can come true, and I can't wait to elope with y'all to a farm, lol. Love, Fair.
Femme Static Zine, Issue 7, by Carissa Lucille, who lives in Phoenix, Arizona. Started in 2014, Femme Static is a zine focusing on fourth wave feminism topics with the goal of encouraging discussion, spreading awareness, and resonating with people of any race, gender, class, sex, or identity. Issue 7, A Safer Guide to Sexual Health and Gender, provides an updated discussion on fourth wave feminism, a community page, poetry, art, and articles about gender identity, a guide to menstruation products, an article about mental health and menstruation, forms of birth control, a guide for getting an abortion, a quick guide on STIs, and an article on masturbation as sexual health. The last page shit is blank for your notes, thoughts, and doodles. This zine hosts 16 contributors from the United States, Puerto Rico, Italy, and Scotland. This zine is black and white and 44 pages in length.
Beautiful beings, I have the great honor to have been receiving wisdom and blessings and lifeway teachings from the Indigenous Dene people since 2009. I wrote this zine to support their efforts to stay on their Indigenous homeland and practice their ways in the face of colonialism and extreme resource extraction, primarily coal. So I want to give it up for Raina Babbitt Lane, Roberta Blackgoat. I have the great honor to have been receiving wisdom and blessings and lifeway teachings from the Indigenous Dene people since 2009. I wrote this zine to support their efforts to stay on their Indigenous homeland and practice their ways in the face of colonialism and extreme resource extraction, primarily coal. So I want to give it up for Raina Babbitt Lane, Roberta Blackgoat, and Glenna Begay. This zine also is envelope, so you can write who it's to, it's from you, and put a stamp on it and some tape and send it off.
Hi, I'm Catherine, And I'm Kyla, and we're Hungry Zine.
Hungry was born out of a hunger to see ourselves and our own experiences reflected in the way food stories are told. We're hungry for more diverse, critical, and multifaceted food storytelling that comes from a variety of life experiences and approaches to food and community.
We imagine this issue as a getting to know you kitchen hangout. All our storytellers crammed around a table or in a tiny kitchen, sharing food and conversation with each other and with you, our readers. One's relationship with food can be beautiful, complicated, sad, and nurturing, and the stories in this issue span the breadth of these feelings and our experiences.
So as we open up space, we begin at the source. We honor everyday food knowledge and those who first taught us to cook. We honor the home cooks.
We hope that these stories nourish you.
Sick fun.
A nous manger.
Bye.
So just in case we didn't catch the names, I'll just read them out again, and I'll drop the link to our nominees listing just so people have it for reference. Yes, clapping. I love the clapping in the chat by saying clapping. That's what I do as well. So many great videos, and I think this might be the year where we had the most people submit videos, which is, yeah, it's really exciting. So group zines and collabs. This year we had Work and Leisure, edited by Lena Kobula and Caden Jelsing. Sacred Land, Dene Supporters Network, by Kua Josseri Indomela. Hungry Zine by Catherine Lennon and Kyla Pascal. Queering Friendships, edited by Jay Wu. Femstatic number 7, edited by Charissa Lucille from Phoenix and Wasted Ink Zine Distro. Shout out to Wasted Ink. And Fertile Dreams by Women, Weed, and Wi-Fi. And the 2021 group zine and collab zine of the year is Queering Friendships, edited by Jay Wu out of Oakland, California. So congratulations. I'm not sure, I can't tell if they are here.
Hi, thank you so much.
Yes, hey, what's up?
Yeah, hey. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you, yeah, congratulations once more. And I think just to always to say that group zines are a group effort, so there's 1 or 2 names on them, but I know that lots of people have been involved in all of those nominees, and so congratulations to everyone who contributed to each of those zines as well. Oh, I love the emoji applause as well. Our next category is the info and DIY zines category, which is one of my favorite new categories because it kind of got at something we struggled to name for a while, which is like, what is the goal of this class of zines that is either full of facts or how to do stuff, how not to do stuff, but also like sometimes guidebooks about mental health and like just like a huge range of things. And so let's take a look. There's some really, really cool stuff in here this year. Our info and DIY zines.
This zine is mostly about 2 things: New York and tomatoes.
In June's light rays, I sidestepped across Dundas. Crowded crossways of streetcars snake over the pavement. Even in the sun, this place feels like habit, an extension of my space. This is safe. In bits and pieces, in tongues mixed between, stories like mine of a place I've never been. A part of me, yes, the part that remembers. It yearns for the comfort of this grocery aisle color. It's both home and away. This place, a contradiction to the places we're from and to the places we're making. Forging a railway by our own hands, like a pathway to the familiar built on roast pork and fruit stands. Cigarettes on the curb, hauling boxes in the sun. Incense in the doorways and warm pineapple buns. This town is moving and staying, bathed in red and liquid gold. Under fluorescent lights I wander until I find my way back home.
I'm EA, and this is my zine, The Wellspring of Our Potential, an unofficial guide to the zines contained within the BC Gay and Lesbian Archive. The zine was made in part with a grant from Art Starts, funded by the City of Vancouver, which also funded a series of zine making workshops for LGBTQ youth in the city. And so the zine was put together over a period of weeks when I went to the BC Gay and Lesbian Archive and read all the zines and made notes. And it really was just an attempt to uplift all of this history that has existed and is kind of being made inaccessible through the process of being archived. I think it's kind of a Zinester Street daydream to be included in an archive, but then because you have to go and make an appointment in order to read these zines, I wanted to make them more accessible for the public.
Hello, Broken Pencil Magazine. My name is Gina Kim. I'm the writer and illustrator of the Young Ajuma's Guide to Self-Care. So for those of you who don't know, Ajuma is a Korean term used to refer to a woman of a certain age, typically older and or with grown children. There's a stigma against getting older, and as I am quickly approaching middle age, I wanted to at least change this thinking in how I view myself. So as a creative exercise, I started to illustrate the different tips and tricks that I learned from the Ajumas in my life. A lot of the things that I learned were super practical and super useful. I also learned that there is power in this knowledge, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to be called an Ajuma, and in fact, something to be embraced. Self-care is not a new concept for Ajumas. For example, K-beauty and skincare has been around long before it became a trend. This is actually one of my favorite spreads in the zine. As a Korean American, I'm really excited to share my culture with all of you. And if you're interested in learning about self-care within the cultural context of a Korean Ajuma, head on over to the Broken Pencil Magazine's online store and buy yourself a copy. I'd like to say thank you to all of you for appreciating and supporting independent writers, artists, free speech, and print. And congratulations and good luck to all the nominees. Hooray!
Hi, my name is Mary and I'm the creator of Reflective Zines. This is my nominated zine, Who Am I? This is an interactive zine about exploring your identity. I'm going to read you a little bit of the intro. Identities are multifaceted, complex, and ever-growing. Some parts of your identity will stick with you throughout your entire life. Other parts will develop as you grow. Some parts may even drift away as you evolve as an individual. Understanding and interacting with your identity will allow you to act in ways that align with your beliefs and values, and allow you to live a happier, healthier, more fulfilling life. Throughout the zine, there are activities and questions that will help you explore different facets of who you are. And my hope with this zine is that it will help people uncover something lovely about themselves that they did not know. Thanks for nominating my zine.
Hi, this is Carly from Adroit Automotive Empowerment. My zine is called DIY car repairs for people who know nothing about car repairs. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a beginner's guide to taking care of your car for people who have no idea how to do that and who've never done anything with their cars. So yeah, it starts from like the very beginning of like how to pop your hood, and goes into other things like refilling your oil or changing a tire, yeah, that kind of stuff. Check it out.
InfoZine nominees this year were Gina Kim's The Young Ajuma's Guide to Self-Care, E.A. Douglas's The Wellspring of Our Potential, Fugitive Gardens by Claire Tuna, Tracing Chinatown by Charmaine Wong, DIY car repairs for people who know nothing about car repairs. Winner for this year's InfoZine Awards 2021 goes to Charmaine Wong for Tracing Chinatown. I don't know if you are here. Are you? You are. Would you like to say hello?
Hi, everyone. Thanks
Hey.
so much. Thanks so much for choosing Tracing Chinatown. It's an honor. That's all I have to say.
Great. Congratulations. Yeah. In the past, we've never made people come up and like make an acceptance speech, but it's like, we're all here and we're on Zoom. We can do it. So now this lit zines category sort of expands to everything from chapbooks to plays and creative writing, and often involving additional visuals or text-based sort of experiments, visual poetry, and really expanding on, yeah, it truly is an all-encompassing category. Self-identification here, if folks, you'll see in this sort of wonderful range of entries that it really does run the gamut. So,
hey everyone, I'm Trevor Little, the author of The Lichens #1, and I wanted to share a bit about the zine with you. I decided to create it around October/November 2020 when I finished reading the book Stolen Sharpie Revolution. I wanted to take the skills I learned in that book and create something interesting and unique. So I decided to make an experimental lit zine written from the perspective of one of my original characters. I styled it after Riot Grrrl fanzines from the 90s, and I tried my best to channel some of that energy from those zines into my own. Overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out, especially since it was the first zine I ever made. I want to thank everyone who has shown interest in the zine and for supporting it. Thank you. Hey everyone, I'm Trevor Little, the author of The Lichens #1, and I wanted to share a bit about the zine with you. I decided to create it around October/November 2020 when I finished reading the book Stolen Sharpie Revolution. I wanted to take the skills I learned in that book and create something interesting and unique. So I decided to make an experimental lit zine written from the perspective of one of my original characters. I styled it after Riot Grrrl fanzines from the 90s, and I tried my best to channel some of that energy from those zines into my own. Overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out, especially since it was the first zine I ever made. I want to thank everyone who has shown interest in the zine and for supporting it. Thank you.
When the self happens and happens again, it's me making myself veil, able to rhyme like body heat and the climate. What's oceanic for the fish? My entrance, such a shimmer, is the shared situation. It's a privilege to be wary with you. Like a thunderclap's only a reaction to lack, oxygen just closing close on normalcy. I just connect with what I'm doing, even if I can't get the connection to take to itself. That fire, it's just what's in me now.
Hi there, my name is Megan Romano and I'm the author of Chess Game. I'm a first-year UVic student and I'm situated on the unceded and traditional territories of the Esquimalt, Songhees, and Wasanich nations. My mom taught me to play chess when I was very little, and we are still playing to this day. Chess Game is a way for me to process my relationship with the sport, as well as childhood, family, fighting, and surrender. It is inspired by my grandfather saying that life is un jeu de schach, meaning chess game.
Hi, my name is Olivia and I write under the name O Ashby, and my zine is called Human Remains. I won't say anything else about it because I'd like to use this full 2 minutes to read you a poem, my favorite poem, called She Stopped Startled. She stopped startled the skeleton perfectly arranged in an orange ski vest and cargo shorts, an out-of-place Halloween decoration. Human remains was the phrase that skittered across her mind. The initial shock dissipating, she marveled at how pristinely nature had done its job, every bone a gleaming clean white, not a hint of flesh left behind. She chided herself with remorse, pulled the emotion out of some top hat as curiosity beckoned, "Come closer." Crouching before the bone, she ran the pad of her thumb over the face of her phone, wondering if touching a femur would blaspheme the sacred helplessness of the dead. Glancing, she saw a sun-faded backpack, an overturned water bottle, a compass, the red needle unflappable, constant. Judgment demanded she open the bag. There were extra socks, some twine, a granola bar, a pocket knife, and there, she felt it, a wallet. Soft from the DNA of mundane handling, she held it like a mirror before her face. Nerves jangled like tambourines. It must be done, demanded sensibility. Thumb lifted obediently to reveal his card, the now disappeared Jack of Hearts. She forced herself to contend with the most distressing aspect of his skeleton, the two black sockets that had once been his eyes. She tried to follow his line of sight to where he was looking as he died, a tree like any other, the sky, and at this time, before eventide, a perfect shaft of light. Supine, she let the shaft of light warm her corneas behind the hot red curtains of her eyes. She imagined his fate, the final breath, the birds testing his flesh, the ants tunneling until he vanished, like a magician's final act.
You've been waiting so long, I'm here to answer your call. I know that I shouldn't have had you waiting at all. I've been so busy, but I've been thinking about what I wanna do with you. I know them other guys, they've been talking about the way I do what I do. They heard I was good, they wanna see if it's true. They know you're the one I wanna give it to. I can see you on me too.
And a shout out, apologies to Katie. I made that, like, I just couldn't help myself. Just get a video in there, and I was like, well, I know a thing or two about a Ken Burns shot. So just to go over those awesome Lit Zine nominees, and congratulations to all of them. Really strong work. We have The Lichens by Trevor Dallas Little, Chess Game by Megan Romano, Range by Katie Borak, Dark Paths, The Cloud, The Eyes by Will D, Human Remains by O. Ashby, and Hippocamp by Miles Forrester. So, and Katie, I made that video because I for some reason couldn't dig up yours, but if there is one, I could probably play it as well. Is everybody enjoying the Zine Awards? The chat is lit. I'm just gonna say the chat is pretty fun. Oh no, we're gonna do it. You made a nice video, and we have the real video for Katie's, which I will summon now. As much as I liked my Cassie remix. That was amazing. My video is not nearly as involved. That's incredible. So apologies for that mixed up earlier. I just oh well, thank you. I like the positivity in the chat. But yeah, apologies for having mixed that up. But I'm glad that was the first time I've seen it as well for that same reason, and it was really good. Look at the nominees for this category. Again, Lit Scenes kind of spans the gamut. This year we had Katie Borak's Range, The Lichens by Trevor Dallas Little, Chess Game by Megan Romano, Dark Paths That Cloud the Eyes by Will D, Human Remains by O. Ashby, and Hippocamp by Miles Forrester. Our 2021 Lit Scene of the Year goes to O. Ashby from Victoria, BC, who is with us. So if you want to say hello, yeah, big round of applause.
Hi, yeah, I am here, and oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so new to this scene. This is the first zine I ever made in my life. I actually didn't even know it was called a zine. I saw my daughter doing this, and I used to call it art journaling. But yeah, I mean, I love the experience of making a zine because I love poetry and I love writing poetry, and it was just really cool to actually start to incorporate art. I didn't really show anybody like the zine in the video. I'm like watching all these awesome videos and I'm like, oh my God, like I should have like held it up. But anyways, yeah, I'm just super appreciative that it was even acknowledged, and I'm very humbled, and thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That is a great story, and congratulations again. First zines sometimes are just great zines. So lovely that you could be here as well. And shout out to all of the finalists and people who entered who are here in the audience. It takes a lot of guts to enter the Zine Awards, and literally every zine we get is like pretty rad in this way or that way, and I look forward to them every year. But since so many of you are here, a round of applause for yourselves. Please do take a look at the BP Zine store. You can shop to your heart's content and get your hands on copies of many of these. And also do check out the Broken Pencil 25th anniversary package. It's a sweet deal. But we've got a few more categories to get through, so I say we get through them. This is the comics category, always a hotly, not hotly contested, but highly, there are many submissions. And so it's difficult because sometimes it really is apples and oranges within the same category, but comics are, these days, you know, they're foundational for our zine culture. And we've got some great ones to show off.
My name is Sarah Firth and I am a comic artist from Melbourne, Australia. And I wanted to say thank you for nominating my tiny zine for this category in the Zine Awards. I made this comic about feeling small and feeling sad at a time when I was feeling small and feeling sad. And it's a little exploration of that. And I guess the message is that maybe feeling these things it's not so bad. Just a little sneak peek. And it's risographed in this beautiful orange and purple and handmade on my kitchen table. So thanks for nominating, and I hope you enjoy reading it. Thanks.
Hi there. I'm Archie Sargent, author of Horses from Get the Press, coming to you live to tape from this weird horse. I would like to thank Broken Pencil. The work you all do to support and promote the zine and small press culture is astounding, and the world wouldn't be the same without your hard work. Horses is a short, non-fiction comic exploring the suffering of horses and other animals drafted into the Civil War. But don't take it from me. Let's go to Spitfire the Legs McTish, definitely a horse. This comic may be about horses, but no one deserves to live and work in dehumanizing conditions. As Spitfire mentioned, a 2017 survey of arts professionals in Mohkinstsis, Calgary, where Get the Press is located, found that 53% of arts workers make less than living wage, even when including income from outside the sector. Art is labor, and making art shouldn't mean living in poverty. Thanks again to the good folks at Broken Pencil. Have an apple.
Hi, my name is Az Sperry. I made I Don't Want to Be Famous, a 32-page black and white comic. Here's a short excerpt. Good morning, Melanie. Morning. How are you today? Fine, I guess. Apparently my mom died. Can I smoke? I'd rather you didn't. Well, I'm gonna. Melanie, aren't you upset? No. A little, maybe. I don't know. She's the reason I'm so fucking miserable. The acting, the eating disorder, my failed relationships. I wonder what she would have done if I was never born. She would have died a long time ago without me to take the abuse for her. I would rather have not been born. Do you think about that a lot? Not existing? No, I mean, well, I just don't know what to do now that I'm retired. You have your whole life ahead of you now. No one to hold you back or make you feel guilty. You can do anything you want. What do you want? I don't know. Write a book? Get married? Get a dog? I just don't think that's the point of life, trying to be something. I have that. I am someone. And it fucking sucks, because at the end of the day, I didn't choose who I am. Maybe, well, if my mom's dead, I can start being who I really want to be. I can start being proud of myself. You aren't? How can I be proud of decisions I didn't make?
Hey Zine Awards. My name is Stellan, and my zine, Slow Heel, is nominated in the comics category this year, so that's exciting. This is basically it's a compilation of visual journal entries pulled from my sketchbook after a breakup, featuring me as a little serval cat, processing some feelings. So yeah, it's my second zine ever, and easily the most personal. So I'm not able to be at the ceremony today as I'm traveling, but thanks, and everyone have a good one.
Hi, this is a last minute video because I didn't know I was supposed to make one, and I'm in transit, so hello. I'm Kim Edgar, and I am running Hecate Press, or Hecate Press, however you want to pronounce it really. And I just wanted to talk a bit about my anthology, which was nominated for Best Comic, called The Northern Gaze. And I say mine, I coordinated and edited it, but like really it is the anthology of the artists who made the work. Those artists are Julianne Fraser, Chris Caldwell, Andrew Sharp, Cole Pauls, Esther Bordet, Akishu Chislett, Allison McCreesh, Keith Verbenek, and Princess J. So I wanted to thank all of them for basically making this anthology what it is. The Northern Gaze is an anthology featuring Northern artists making work for a Northern audience. A lot of Northern art that I've seen often has exposition or caters to a Southern audience. So in this anthology, I wanted to prioritize work that catered to a Northern audience. It could be about pretty much anything as long as it was featured the North in some way and did not explain the North to the South. And I wanted to thank Broken Pencil for the nomination, and I hope that the nomination will be able to raise the profile of all the incredible artists that are in this anthology. What Hecate Press is interested in is facilitating comics community across territories in other northern parts of so-called Canada, and Hecate Press is also interested in promoting those artists and, if I can, making paid opportunities for them. Also, I would like to thank the Yukon government, Kayak, and Culture Quest for helping me fund this. So thank you to everybody.
So a round of applause for an awesome crew of comics artists and zinesters. Yeah, what a lineup indeed. So I'll just read the lineup's official names. We've got Brained by Oliver Hart Jenkins, An End Sickness by Sophia Alarcon, An Affliction of the Eyes by Blaise Moritz, Feeling Small Today by Sarah Firth, It's an Unhappy Day for Many Reasons by Inez Christine Geyser and Sister, who just shut it out, Slow Heal by Stellan Tobias, The Northern Gaze edited by Kim Edgar, and as mentioned, lots of fabulous artists involved, I Don't Want to Be Famous by Az Sperry, and Horses by Archie Sargent, which, I mean, there's some killer videos throughout this entire thing, but it just reminds me that every year we say we're going to do like a People's Choice Best Video Award on the spot, but lost sight of that again. So somebody remind me next year, because they're in a league of their own as well. In any case, the comic zine of the year is The Northern Gaze by Kim Edgar, who you just heard from. And yeah, I'm not sure if Kim is here, are they? But a big congratulations to Kim, who has been nominated several years and just continues to make really fantastic work. And if you're interested in, yeah, that sort of regional work and again, work made by Northerners for Northerners, really is a privilege for us to read it. So, but congratulations to all of the finalists, really incredible work. Yeah. And now on to probably my personal favorite category, the per-zines category. This is sort of a internal scene to the zine scene of sort of like diaries and essays and personal thoughts and serial zines. And it really is for me what I always go back to. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you guys our nominees for 2021.
spent the last decade learning to use these tools. Then came back to my zine nerd DIY publishing roots so that I could make comics and a zine. Here it is. What's so funny about being a female electrician? What's it about? Well, it's a collection of anecdotes and comics summarizing a few years in the life of a female electrician. Each chapter ends with some lessons learned and many attempts at jokes. It's about learning to understand how to interact as a woman in a male-dominated work environment. It's about getting along and being okay with it. It's about having a strong sense of your own core value systems and ethics. It's about learning to laugh about it. Hope you enjoy it. Sneak peek. Words, comics, yay!
Hey, I'm EA, and this is my Perzine Strange and Mysterious Creatures Blue issue. I wrote the zine in the fall of 2020 after I started back on antidepressants. It's all about my experience about getting back on antidepressants and also about what it's like being depressed your entire life and how this made high school particularly shitty for me. It's black and white and includes a bunch of collages that I made to go along with the content, and I'm so happy that it's being recognized and uplifted by Broken Pencil.
My name's Graham Cooling, and I wrote the Worm story. I wake once again in a panic, my clothes soaked, a squeal of primal anxiety and raced emotions let out into the room. I recall nothing instantly. For the first few times it occurred, but the dream plays on repeat. It's cliche, isn't it? To begin a story with a dream. This is a story about a worm, which isn't technically true. It's a story called The Worm Story because the story is not specifically about a worm. It's about a dream about a worm. So I came up with an idea of creating something completely unique. And what's the best way to make something unique is to include every single one of your mistakes. A personal dictation of a dream which I had on repeat as a child, that I decided to tell it like I would sitting down and talking to you, actually trying to deconstruct my own past and figure out why these memories keep coming back. To add to it being completely detached, I wanted to make it quite non-reproducible, exactly hand type them, and I'm not an amazing typer, just as I'm not an amazing writer. So it includes all of my mistakes. It includes where I trail off at moments and where I lose focus and where I type wrong and where things just kind of take over one another. I wanted to just add to that whole idea again of these just being unique moments and unique stories and told in a way which was more organic than just sitting and typing and word processing and proofreading. And it's an attempt for me to cover a topic which I'm not comfortable with covering, which is myself.
Hi everyone, my name is Mark. Thank you so much for having me today. It's really exciting to be on the short list this year. I'm sure there were probably hundreds of award-winning zines, and I'm really grateful to be here. So my zine is called I Could Have Killed Alex Jones. I started writing this last fall and finished it in January. It's mostly about my work relationship with this really deep conspiracy theorist who only read stuff from the Alex Jones websites. This was back in 2008 to maybe 2011 when Alex Jones wasn't quite as well known. So the first 2/3 is about this guy, and then the last section of the zine is about the time that I met Alex Jones. I drive a shuttle in a vacation spot, and just by chance I got a call from Alex Jones and his family and some of his friends. And so I got to spend about 45 minutes with him right here inside a van. I don't want to spoil the story, so I'll stop there. If anyone wants to buy the zine, it will be for sale at Broken Pencil. And you should. It's a really good story. And it's all true. Thanks again.
Various approaches to the Perzines, whether it's dreams or nightmares, in the case of Alex Jones. But a round of applause for everyone. I'll just name them off again. We've got The Worm Story, or Stories That Go Nowhere by Graham Cooling, Kinogram, Uncle Jerry by S.A. Mukherjee, Glitch by Lana C. Maryland, Glitch number 5, Strange and Mysterious Creatures, The Blue Issue by E.A. Douglas, What's So Funny About Being a Female Electrician by Kayla Lichty, and I Could Have Killed Alex Jones by Mark Cunning. So do, as mentioned, check out the BP Zine store to grab a few copies of a few of these. But yeah, we'll just get into it. The 2021 Perzine of the year is going to be Kinogram Uncle Jerry by S.A. Mukherjee from Ithaca, New York, who I believe is here. If you want to say hello.
Yeah, that's just goddamn awesome. It's the first zine I've done since 1993, which might be revealing how goddamn old I am, but I'm super excited. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, as Anissa mentioned in the chat, we were in the office recently, all sort of like really enjoying that zine and partially talking about how it's not the same design language that you always see in, not that you always see in Perzines or other zines, but it definitely stood out both visually and with the writing, and really touching and complex story as well. So congratulations to S.A. Mukherjee again. So we are taking it home. We've got just 2 more categories left. So let's get into our political zines.
Hi there, it's Megan, the creator of the Harvest Garden zine. It was created earlier this year in the end of February and March, during the period where there was a lot of awareness brought to the anti-Asian hate crimes, especially with the shootings happening in Georgia. And it was definitely a hard piece to create, especially since it involved parts of my community, and definitely was something hard to put down on paper, but I'm so glad I did. I was able to meet and connect with so many people who resonated with this piece. This piece is actually a part of my illustration thesis, and it references the idiom bread and butter, a very common idiom to encapsulate a person's livelihood, and it kind of manifested in this takeout menu. I really wanted to create a physical and tangible veil between the surface level perception of American Chinese food and the reality, necessary survival and assimilation in a foreign land. It is inspired by the phrase that's often repeated by Chinese restaurant workers that translates roughly to have to pay the harvest, and that's essentially our version of no pain, no gain, and it became the inspiration of the title, Harvest Garden. I hope that you can connect with the zine in some way and share it with your friends and family.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Nina Pizzarillos. I zine as Andromeda, and I made the zine How to Talk to Welly about Goya. On July 9th, 2020, Goya Foods CEO Robert Unanue, aka Bob, took to the mic on the White House lawn and praised President Trump. "We are blessed to have you, La Gran Familia. We never stop working day and night, aka Labor equals our worth. We came to the US from Spain." Actually, it was Puerto Rico. For many in the Latinx community, this was some major what the F. Does not compute because so much of the brand is part of our lives, and Trump is a sentinel. See X-Men. So if you have a cursing grandma or relative resistant to changing brands that are supporting politicians trying to kill us, this zine is for you. Colonialism, capitalism, and comfort identity runs deep and is acknowledged. Pero sí se puede. As a writer, I make these zines with a lot of heart, very little artistic skill, and leaving them in places throughout New York City where they might be helpful.
Enjoy, and thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Sol, and this is my zine, Trans-Disabled Bibliography. It's either an illustrated bibliography or a rigorously cited comic. I'm going to describe the first page and read to you from the text it draws on. A plum split down the middle with a scalpel. In front, Judith Butler and Sonara Taylor take a walk together. In Examined Life, Taylor tells Butler, "So impairment would be my body, my embodiment right now. And this does affect my life in all sorts of situations. For instance, there's a plum tree in my backyard. I can't pick the plums off the plum tree, I have to wait for them to drop. And so there's that embodiment, our own unique embodiment. And then there's disability, which is basically the social repression of disabled people." Above the plum, a figure walks along a field of corn. Eli Clare writes, "Dusk licks my ribs, sternum, collarbone. I think about how good these ears of sweet corn taste, fresh from the eld, husked, boiled, and buttered. I struggle with the concept of body-mind rightness. I don't believe we can separate ourselves that definitively from oppression and privilege, stereotypes and shame. And yet in my technologically reshaped flesh, I feel an abiding contentment, which I can only describe as rightness." Thank you.
So shout out to our political zines category. There are things I want to say about all of them, but I'll just read off their names for now. Sick of It, edited by Matilda Sabal from Brooklyn, New York, which is also lots of work by prisoners. Zine from the Future describing the end of civilization by John Dishwasher. Harvest Garden by Megan Lim. Disaster Lesbian #1 by Petronella Dabiel. The Trans/Disabled Bibliography by Saul Friedman Lawson, and How to Talk to Welly About Goya by Stephanie Nina Pizzarillos from New York. The selection for this year, though, for the Political Zine of the Year 2021 is Megan Lim, Harvest Garden. Is Megan here? Any chance?
Hey.
You are.
Yeah. Firstly, thank you so much. It's such an honor. I was surprised that I was shortlisted in the first place, but yeah, Harvest Garden is a zine that kind of encapsulates the Chinese American or American Chinese restaurant worker scene, and it was made during the rise of anti-Asian hate crimes. So it was definitely a hard zine for me to make, but it was definitely a very fulfilling one because I was able to connect with a lot of amazing people. But yeah.
Get this set up here, but congratulations, Megan, and I'm glad that you were able to join us tonight. After this, we have our final and sort of pop-up category, if you will, which is the quarantine category. As you can see, we just noticed how many of the zines coming in were about COVID, about how zines connected people through COVID, and or sort of reflections on safety and all sorts of other stuff related to the pandemic. And so we kind of regretted not doing this last year and wanted to bring it up this year. And so now on to our quarantines.
I'm ZK Art, and I made this zine. It's called Frantic Fanfic, a Zine, and it was nominated for Best Quarantine at the Broken Pencil Awards, which is pretty cool because that's the first time I've ever submitted a zine for any awards. I decided to make a zine about Frantic Fanfic because You really don't do this every day. By this, I mean make a whole video game. And I wanted to document the process of how it all happened. The zine is nominated for Best Quarantine because we made the game and the zine during the pandemic. Thanks so much for the nomination, Broken Pencil. Grab a copy yourself on my website.
Beings, this zine is a platform for truth-telling. We also partner with incarcerated calligrapher Rascal. This zine is really heavy on the content about telling the truth, about different disparities, but we also just infused it with a lot of games and fun as well, and affirmations. And the truth is, I'm ready for my reparations.
Hi, my name is Matani Romagosa, and I'm going to be reading a poem from my zine, Through the Subway Grates. The experienced puppeteer can make the shadow puppets appear to walk, dance, and even fight on screen. I'm doing yoga in the kitchen again. It happens every winter. I run the washing machine, the birds fly south. Click my heels together, shake my spine, and reassemble the shapes like hand puppet shadows. I am flying south. There it is. Do you see it now? A crow on the shore, alone. Thank you.
Hello, Broken Pencil Zine Awards folks. My name is Sierra Barnes, and I'd like to introduce you to my zine, Tough Year, Making the Best of It. Tough Year was drawn almost entirely in the first 2 months of quarantine, where I was dealing with a lot of mental health issues that weren't being helped by the stay-at-home orders. To try and exorcise the demons, I drew them as these highly stylized animals, each one symbolizing an aspect of myself I was struggling with or didn't like. When I had finished that series, I realized that all I was doing was creating a really depressing list. It was pretty bleak. I was also in a better place, relatively, and wanted to do something to reflect that. So I started the sister zine, Making the Best of It. This year was going to suck, so I figured it was worth it to myself to give the things I was proud about myself the same treatment. It looks like I have 2 zines here, but there's a twist. Tough Year, Making the Best of It is a 2-in-1 zine. I designed it to be reversible. Once you hit the middle, you can flip it over and find the other zine. This zine, much like my 2020 experience, had a lot of flip-flopping. Thank you for your consideration. Congratulations to all the other finalists, and I hope you enjoy my zine.
But I will read out at least the names for Quarantine nominees. We've got Ultra number 6 by the Ultra Collective, Fierce Together, Seed Edition by Kua Jasri Indomela, Tough Year / Making the Best of It by Sierra Barnes, Through the Subway Gates by Matani Romagosa, and Frantic Fanfic by ZK Art, and Quarantine Zine by Jen Steffi. So let's get into it. And our first ever Quarantine winner is Through the Subway Gates by Matani Romagosa from Brooklyn, New York. Congratulations, Matani. You rock. It's history. And we'll be in touch soon. Okay. So there's our new pop-up 9th category. I feel like eventually, I mean, we definitely have to add the video category, the People's Choice. That would bring us to a smooth 10. But I should mention that also all of the winners, of course, in addition to the cash prizes, get a sweet medal, which we are designing now. So you'll get that in the mail. Watching this chat, I'm like, wait, why do we not have this the whole time? Like, it's like, I'm so glad that folks are connecting and enjoying each other's work, because that really is the goal here. So before I get into the Zine of the Year, which we do always select one that really is just the one that took it home for us. I want to, again, encourage everyone to check out the Zine store, check out the Broken Pencil 25th anniversary package. I also wanted to just say, if anyone wants to send me an email, it's just editor@Broken Pencil. Natalie, thank you so much. That was my choice of the song for the cowboy one, but also I want to say Katie's was really good too. Anyway, I also want to just give a huge thank you to the Broken Pencil staff, Anissa, Hal, and especially Lisa, who really picks up a lot of slack and just makes sure that things move smoothly as they can, and is behind the scenes. So I want to take a minute to shout out Lisa, and also our judges, Fiona, Bishara, and Katie, who all had some really tough choices to make and were really nimble with their responses, and just really proud of how this year went. So without dragging it too much, I wish we could do the drum roll thing, but it's kind of nice that we don't have to all beat on tables either. So, well, I'll just tell you. Thank you, Mixed Rice Zines, for giving us the drum roll. The Zine of the Year for this year is going to be our Lit Zine winner, Human Remains by O. Ashby, who I know is here, and who I know was your very first zine, which is incredible. And congratulations. I don't know if you want to say hello again, but we were totally blown away by many things about the zine, about the artwork, but also like the poetry. Even Hal, who is notorious for not liking poetry, was blown away. Like, we all just enjoyed it so much and thought it was really smart and complex and nuanced and pretty. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm trying not to cry a little bit. I feel it. But yeah, your words mean so much to me. It's just an amazing feeling to hear that my poetry has moved someone, and I'm just so incredibly honored, and I need to get this printed, I guess. And yeah, I hope we'll be in touch.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, so great to have your zine, and to everyone here, all the finalists, all the readers, all of the people who entered. This is our, this is one of the highlights of our year, and so it's just great to be able to share it with you guys, even in quarantine times and distantly. I had a really good time. I hope you guys did too. Please, feel free to stick around. I'm going to keep the Zoom open and hang out for a little bit. You can drop your Instagram handles and your websites and stuff again. But you guys are all such gems, and what a great time. Yeah. Also, this video will be posted in the next couple of days, and we'll be putting the list of the category winners and all that up later tonight. So congratulations again to another great year of incredible zines, and let's do it again. All right. Pump some music since we
You've been waiting so long, I'm here to answer your call. I know that I should